Have you ever wanted to dig for oil? Well, now you can, in Farming Simulator 22, with the all new, not really that new, I'm a little late to the party, but almost new, Oil Production Chains mod, which will gain you access to a bunch of products to produce, and importantly, more profit. This is a completely free mod, downloadable on all platforms, and today I'm going to walk you through it so you can make the most out of your new business. To download this mod, head to Downloadable Content from the main menu, scroll down to Factories and click on Crude Oil Production. From here you can download the pack. This mod is completely independent of anything else in the game, so you don't need to download any other mods for it to work, and you can also add it to any existing save games. The only tools this mod adds to the game are these 3 liquid trailers, which are the same ones you get in the base game, but these are modified to be able to carry crude oil. You have this small one, and the medium and large chrome tankers. The mod also adds an empty oil barrel into the shop, which can be found in the pallets section right here. I will show you what this is used for in a little bit. More importantly though, this mod adds the oil refinery production chain, which is shown on screen here. In this chain, you start off producing crude oil, which can then be refined into 5 things: paraffin, kerosene, motor oil, bearing grease, and diesel fuel. These products are then sold for a profit, and to be honest, it's a really good profit too. So let me show you how it all works. There are 2 facilities that produce crude oil, and they can be found in the Factories tab in the construction section of the shop. The small oil pump, which is just called the oil well pump, costs £100,000. Once you build it, you can access its management page in the production chains tab of the menu. As you can see here, it requires empty oil barrels and it produces crude oil with them. These are the same empty barrels that I showed you earlier in the shop. What you want to do is buy as many of these barrels as you know you can transport, which yes is slightly inconvenient, and to be honest I haven't figured out a really good way to do it. Please let me know in the comments if you know an easy way to transport many barrels at once. Anyway, the way I do it is with a low loading trailer, because luckily you can pick up the barrels with your hand and place them onto the trailer. Then when you do up the tension belts, they will stay in place. Now you just got to lug them back to your new oil pump. When you drive next to it, the barrels will be automatically accepted into the oil pump. Please ignore the fact I dropped a few there. Once you go into the management menu and hit activate, the well will start producing crude oil. As you can see, it actually does require quite a few barrels to operate, which is what makes it quite inconvenient in my opinion, especially if you're adding this to an already busy farm where you have lots to do. Once the pump has produced some crude oil, it'll appear in the form of pallets, just like any other production chain, which can then be transported on a pallet fork and a trailer, just as you're used to. However, I would like to note that these pallets are not compatible with autoload, as you can see me testing here. This is an autoload pallet trailer mod, and it's refusing to pick up these oil barrel pallets. So that's the small oil well pump. Now onto the bigger one. If you've got some more cash to splash, you can go for the large oil pump. This large oil pump is so much better in my opinion. Yes, it will set you back double the amount at 200,000, but as you can see from the menu here, it can actually just turn air into oil apparently, which is like the new age America Jesus. All you need to do is activate it and it will just produce away. This pump won't produce pallets though, as all the crude oil is stored in liquid form, and you'll need one of the oil tankers I showed you earlier to collect it. All you need to do is drive up to this side with your tanker and it will give you an option to refuel, and you will then load up your crude. As I said before, in my opinion, this larger oil pump is definitely worth it, as you can just leave it alone and it will give you oil upon oil, and you will never have to load up any pallets. Once you have your crude oil, whether that's in the form of pallets or as liquid inside a tanker, you can sell it or use it to produce other goods for a higher profit margin. If you wish to just sell it straight up, then hang tight as I will get onto that a little bit later. Using the crude oil to produce any of the 5 products I mentioned earlier will reward you greatly though, so if you have the money, I would really recommend doing that. To produce paraffin, kerosene, motor oil, bearing grease, or diesel, or all 5 at the same time, you need to purchase an oil refinery, and there are 3 to choose from. The small refinery, which is £70,000, the medium refinery, which is 150 grand, and the large refinery, which is £500,000. The differences between the 3, other than size and cost, is the capacity of crude oil they can process and the number of cycles per month of production. Obviously, the smallest oil refinery has the least capacity and is the slowest, and the large refinery has the most capacity and is the fastest at production. I would use the small refinery if you have 1 to 2 small oil wells. Use the medium if you have 3 to 4 small oil wells or 1 to 2 large oil wells, and use the large refinery if you have any more than that. To use the refineries is very simple and mirrors any other production chain, so I won't spend long going over it. Simply drop your pallets or unload your tanker here, head to the production chain management screen in settings and select which products you wish to produce. After they have been made, they will appear here to be picked up. If you produce diesel oil, it will be in liquid form and you'll have to pick it up with your tanker, but all other products will appear as pallets as usual. Now you've made all this produce, it's time to sell. This mod adds 4 new selling points with a large range of prices. If you wish to sell any of these products, you have to buy a selling point, as no current places on the map except the new products. This one is called Average Purchase Point of Sales, whatever that means. It costs 40 grand and it accepts paraffin, kerosene, motor oil and bearing grease. It does not accept raw crude oil or diesel. This one is called the Small Sales Stall. It only costs 4,000 and it accepts the same products. Again, not crude oil or diesel. This one is called the Farmer's Market. It costs 55,000 and accepts paraffin, kerosene, motor oil and bearing grease like the others, but it also accepts crude oil. Again, it does not accept diesel, annoyingly. This last one is called the Crude Oil Purchase Point. It costs 10,000 and it accepts all of the products in this mod. So paraffin, kerosene, motor oil, bearing grease, raw crude oil and diesel. A bit of a tongue twister there, but we got through it. There is actually also a way to produce crude oil and sell it instantly without ever needing to touch any barrels or trailers or pallets ever. And that's actually in the form of this oil pump under the generators tab in the construction section of the shop. It'll set you back £80,000 and it will generate £9,600 per month. For those of you that want the maths, it will pay itself off in about 8 months. After that, it's all pure profit. That's pretty much all there is to show you for this oil production mod. It's very easy to use and it's very profitable, both at a small and at a large scale. It's also pretty easy to run, even if you're on a busy farm, especially if you use the large oil pump, which just works away in the background without you needing to touch pallets or lug empty oil barrels back and forth. I hope you guys found this tutorial helpful, and as always, if you have any questions, please post them in the comments below and I'll try my best to help out. Cheers guys.